United States Postal Service, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the public meeting for the Area Mail Processing Feasibility Study at the Oshkosh, Wisconsin Processing and Distribution Facility. I'll be your moderator for this evening. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce the officials from the U.S. Postal Service who will conduct tonight's meeting. To my left, this is Karen Shank. She's the District Manager of Customer Service and Sales for the Lakeland District, which covers most of the state of Wisconsin and a good portion of the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. Next to her is Steve Wenzel. Steve is the Senior Plant Manager for the Lakeland District. He is responsible for operations at 6 processing plants across the district, including Oshkosh and Green Bay. And to make sure that we gather all of your questions and comments, Joan Aldrich and Carol Miller from the Lakeland District, who are on my extreme left, they will take notes of the meeting. I'd also like to acknowledge some special guests we have with us tonight. I probably won't get everyone, so I apologize in advance if I miss you. First off, from the American Postal Workers Union, we have local president Dave Meyer. Dave, welcome. We have with us the president of the Oshkosh Chamber of Commerce, John Casper. From the city of Oshkosh, we have Dave Pasca. And finally, we have a man who I believe needs no introduction, Congressman Tom Petrie. Now, I'd like to cover tonight's agenda. If you would go to the next slide, please. We'll begin with a video to help with your understanding of the objectives of area mail processing, followed by a presentation from Karen Shank and Steve Wenzel highlighting the recommendations of your study. Now, we have a lot to cover tonight, and many of the questions you have may be answered in the presentation. I ask that you hold your questions and comments until the presentation is finished. Then we'll open the meeting up to your questions. We also ask if you could focus your questions, comments on concerns about service, costs, and customer issues. Now, we will address employee impacts during the presentation. However, internal issues are handled internally with the Postal Service and with appropriate personnel. We will now show the video.
People associate the post office with this, or this, but rarely this. What you may not know is that the United States Postal Service is a leader in change through technology. The Postal Service delivers more than 700 million pieces of mail per day. That's 486,000 pieces per minute, to more than 144 million families and businesses. We've always embraced emerging technologies. We developed America's airlines by moving mail on the earliest flights, adding fuel to a growing economy. We played an important part in developing the nation's roadways and railroads. We continue to be an innovator and pioneer in the use of automation and robotics. In the online world, we've given new meaning to the words quick, easy, and convenient with the powerful 1-2 punch of click and ship and carrier pickup. The Postal Service has always been a leader in a changing world, but like any smart business in a global economy, there's the need for change if you're going to stay competitive, efficient, and affordable. The post office, your post office, relies on a complex mail processing network to move and sort mail efficiently. It's that very aspect of our business that needs to change. We need to be more productive and efficient to compete in a global marketplace. And we've come up with an aggressive plan called Area Mail Processing, or AMP, to do just that. AMP is the consolidation of selected mail processing functions from one facility into one or more centralized facilities. This will allow us to put the right people in the right place at the right time.
There are times when it just makes sense to combine operations. Any business in our situation would do the same thing. The Postal Service has a responsibility to our customers and to our employees to stay financially healthy. And a healthy Postal Service makes for a vibrant mailing industry.
Over the last 35 years, there's been a technology revolution. It's touched every facet of our lives. For example, single-piece first-class mail volume has decreased overall. Why? People have more choices. They're paying bills online and using email more. Competition has become stiffer. Other major carriers like FedEx and UPS continually make changes to network operations to remain efficient. Huge technology leaps have allowed our automation to process mail faster, reading up to 33,000 envelopes an hour on a single machine. But just because we've gone high-tech doesn't mean we've forgotten about old-fashioned service. We know postmarks are important to many of our customers, so you can bring your mail right to the post office for a local postmark. Technology has also provided the Postal Service and its large mailers new generations of automated equipment that have drastically changed the way mail is processed and prepared for delivery. Two of the biggest changes have been work sharing and drop shipping. These allow mailers to qualify for reduced postage rates by doing some of the work themselves, like sorting or transporting their mail. This type of mail often bypasses some postal facilities, sometimes totally eliminating the processing part, going directly to the post office in your neighborhood.
By consolidating operations, we're able to control costs and maintain quality service. The history of consolidation is nothing new to the Postal Service. In the early days, we had over 10,000 facilities where mail was processed on a nightly basis. 4 years ago, there was about 2,000. Today, we process mail at about 400 plants. Changes in the way we operate are an ongoing process that attract mailing trends and technology improvements. Changes in the industry require us to change too.
Area mail processing consolidation has proved effective in areas of the country where it's already been done. And while some areas of the country will undergo some service adjustments, the overall integrity of service will be maintained. With our new technology, we can process the same amount of mail with fewer people. For the Postal Service, area mail processing consolidation is all part of our strategic transformation plan that we presented to Congress and promised to the American people. During the course of history, the Postal Service has always strived to improve the way we do business. To be efficient, we have to change with the times. It's nothing new to us. Consolidation is simply a continuation of our goal to be the best value in the marketplace, the best run communications and delivery company, and the best place to work. That's your United States Postal Service.
Please welcome Karen Schenk and Steve Wenzel.
Good evening. AMP is not a new process. AMP stands for Area Mail Processing. It's the process of consolidating all outgoing or all incoming processing operations from one or more facilities into other automated processing facilities for the purpose of improving operational efficiency and/or service. We have been consolidating mail processing operations for decades. In the 20 years from 1950 to 1970, U.S. mail volume nearly doubled. Volume rose from 45 billion pieces in 1950 to 87 billion in 1970 and showed no signs of slowing down. During the same period, the number of employees also rose sharply. In time, technology changed and we moved from sorting our mail manually to using large, sophisticated, mechanized equipment. It required us to move the mail from small offices with no equipment to large offices that had the equipment. In some cases, we even acquired additional facilities to house the additional volume and equipment. we were able to improve our productivity and our service while keeping our costs down. Our mailing environment has changed in the last several years, and the Postal Service will use the AMP process to adjust to the changes. On January 28, 2009, Postmaster General Jack Potter spoke before the Senate Subcommittee on the financial difficulties facing the Postal Service. While there was a nationwide media attention about his testimony on prospects of 5-day delivery, his full testimony reflected more. The Postmaster General spoke about the acute financial crisis that faces the Postal Service. Mr. Potter explained that causes of our current financial challenges, actions taken to meet those challenges, and requests from Congress to help weather the storm. A revolution in the way people communicated has structurally changed the way Americans use the mail. For the last decade, we have experienced a steady erosion of first-class mail. As billing, payments, statements, personal and business correspondence continue to shift from the mail to electronic communications. Mr. Potter noted that the recession in the national economy has caused mail volumes and postal revenue to decline dramatically. Our mail mix has changed. In 2005, for the first time, standard mail volume exceeded first-class mail. Lower cost standard mail is one of the most efficient advertising channels in America. But those mail volumes would have to double to generate the same revenue as first class. Work sharing and drop shipment are two programs that provide commercial mailers with postal discounts since they do some of the processing and transportation themselves. In many cases, this mail bypasses some postal operations. And in other cases, it bypasses entire postal facilities and goes directly to your neighborhood for delivery. These programs have changed where and how we process our mail. We will continue to change in order to provide the services our customers want. We are changing our networks and our processing methods to match the type and volume that we receive. Our first-class mail volume impacts the way we do business. As you can see from the chart behind me, single-piece first-class mail volume has steadily declined. It's decreased by over 20 billion pieces since fiscal year 2000. This volume is letters and bills that you deposit in blue collection boxes or letters that you might give to your carrier to mail for you. In previous years, we geared up with people and buildings and machines to handle increasing volumes. But now, this dramatic drop in volume has created a situation where we have excess processing capacity. That means we have equipment that is sitting idle because we don't have the mail volume to keep it running. It means we're paying for resources we are not using.